You guys, like, I used to be a morning person. I'm really not a night person. Am I like 11 to 2 person? Does it exist? Y'all, what is going on? Hey guys, welcome. I'm Tracy. This is my channel, Tracy from the Mermaid Cove. Welcome. And if you're new, really welcome. I've been doing this for a while now, since the pandemic, as a way of me focusing on something that wasn't terrifying, right? We forget how terrifying the pandemic was, especially the first year, especially even before everything shut down, right? It was terrifying. And I live alone. I had lost my mother, and thank God, because if she'd been alive during that, I feel so bad for people who had parents and loved ones they couldn't see. Just can't imagine. So anyway, I'm not a news person. As a matter of fact, my mom was a news junkie, and since she's gone, I have not had news on one time, except for the pandemic time, right? And there's a core group of us, we were texting all the time, and we were hysterical. I mean, scary. And I have two older friends that I was grocery shopping for. I was getting up at like Sundays at, 6 in the morning to be in there when there wasn't as many people. This is before they were still looking at you funny if you wore masks kind of crap. Not that you could get one. I had some actually, because one of my Asian friends who wore masks all the time because she had an older grandmother. It's a big thing in the Asian culture, and it's very smart. She gave me a few. I was getting up grocery shopping, and then my two friends, we would all rendezvous at her house. My friend Angela, who's gone now. When I talk about this, it just seems so much loss, like so many people, right? And these people in North Carolina right now, in Tennessee and Florida, and wherever else, just strife, right? So I don't watch the news. I really don't. It's not a feel good. And honestly, someone will tell me if I need to know something. They will. And I used to do the newspapers at work, but I don't, so I don't even have to see the headlines now. So that's really nice, because there's always grim on top of the newspaper. So we were texting all the time and just working each other up, as everyone was, right? And when they shut work down, and it was wild. And I would go out, so I would go grocery shopping, and honestly, I would go to Dollar Tree, because Dollar Tree was open and there was hardly anyone in there. And I way over extended myself, but it was a survival thing. But my doctor, we were doing virtual appointments, which really is one of the best things that have come out of this whole thing. And finally, she's like, look, here's what I want. I want you to go out at least 20 minutes a day and walk. If you can't walk, go in your backyard and get some sun. It was like March, right? And she said, I want you to make sure you're getting vegetables and fruit and some good protein in you. And then the other thing was, do something to occupy your mind, because I couldn't read. I still am having trouble reading, but that has more to other brain stuff going on. And I miss it, and I'm really working towards 5 minutes a day reading to build that almost like a muscle back up. So I had, she's like, learn a language, whatever. But I always wanted to start a YouTube channel. And one of my friend's sons, Sandy, had done it and was actually making some money. Not, just still making money about garbage trucks. Boyfriend was obsessed with garbage trucks. And so are other people. So Sandy really encouraged me. And then my friend Michelle actually learned to do it to show me. Now, we were sort of, especially Cindy and Michelle, we were meeting, like when we went back to work, which wasn't, not in the building, but when we started, doing all this stuff. So they started, we would have like one day a week where they would come to my house, because it's really big, and we had space, it was beautiful light, and so they would come just one, I think, to support me too, and another just to get out of their house and get away from their family kind of thing. So we started doing that, but Michelle taught me the basics, right? How nice is that? And she did her channel for a while, but she edits and does all this stuff. So I'm really, one of my goals in January is, one, I'm going to get either an iPad or a Apple Mac like laptop thingy, because I really do want to work on editing for fun, not because I have to. It's time consuming. I rarely go back and watch one of my videos, but maybe not these videos I would edit, the talking ones, the vlogs, but like Trader Joe's or stuff like that. So, and we're gonna work on thumbnails, and I do want to grow my channel. It's just been hiccups, right? But so here's what happened. So I started doing it, and I was really influenced by like Trader Joe's stuff, and which you couldn't get into. When my brother or my sister-in-law would call me, oh my gosh, I need to remember, I have a card for her that I have not put in the mail. Also, I have a little something for her. So let me write, I have to write a note down, y'all. This is really sad. Wow, here's a pad of paper I'm almost done with. I need to do that. Actually, if I can get that done today and drop it off, that'd be good. But anyway, so they're like, we're going to Trader Joe's. You know, they're limiting, but what do you want? What one thing do you want? Tangerine juice. Oh, Trader Joe's tangerine juice, y'all. It's like drinking sunshine. And then if you need an adult beverage, put a little limoncello. That's the adult sunshine. But anyway, I could not stand in line anywhere to get anything. I just couldn't. I would drive there and like on my way to work. And if there wasn't a long line, I would hop in. Mostly there were long lines. It's just the stress of it all. So you know what? Giant was usually fine. But then someone had told me about they're doing pickup. Like they'll come to your car in the back, put them in, and that's it. Wow. So once my friend Beverly and I started figuring that out, she started doing it because she didn't have to go in the store and she had time. So she would do what we would put our order in. She would do that. Angela would pay for it, which was insanely lovely and nice of her. And then we would rendezvous because she lived near my work and get our stuff. And Angela had an extra refrigerator. She had 2 extra refrigerators, one in the pool house and one in her guest kind of area. So we would keep extra stuff there, and it was fun. And I would, usually bring a treat or something, or we'd have lunch or breakfast or something, we made sure that Angela was not alone and was engaged, and I do think the pandemic was a huge part of why Angela passed away. I think a lot of people, and I think people are still suffering the effects of this and don't even know it. And we are like, oh yeah, it's over. No, I did a lot of damage to people. And it's one of those things that people don't really talk about anymore. But imagine your mother's in a nursing home and you can't see her and she dies from a disease, this crazy thing, and you can't even get her body necessarily and bury it. How did that not affect you? Really? How does it not? So I eventually stopped with the news because when I saw, remember, it was Queens, New York, somewhere like that, they had big refrigerated trucks for all the dead bodies in New York City. I would watch a couple people who would talk about that knew the science behind it and all that. I would watch that. Or Michelle would send it to me, like, okay, watch this. This is okay to watch. So, yeah, it was a thing. Anyway, so I started doing this, and I can remember the first one I posted. I was so excited. And but if I messed up, for a while there, I remember I could edit it a little bit, but anyway, it's a thing. So yeah, and when I got 100 people, I couldn't get over it. But it's so much fun. And I think the thing, and this is really, I think people who watch YouTube understand this, but if you don't, there's a connection. And it defies any logic to me or to explain it. But I got a core group of these wonderful women who were so supportive of me because I was really in deep, deep grief about my mother. And, we had lived together, and basically I'd taken care of her emotionally pretty much my whole life. And it was out of the blue. She got sick, the end of September, and she was gone in the end of January. But to go through rehab and hospitals, I had no idea how dangerous it is and how frustrating it is. And the exhaustion and limited amount of time. I needed people to do what I needed them to do, including my mother. And looking back now, and I don't have any guilt or, I did the best I could do at the time, right? Almost one night I fell asleep driving home from the hospital, and thank God I was on like a back road kind of. So there was a thing that woke me up right away. But it was because I was working. I didn't have a lot of leave. It was awful. So, and I felt like she needed to be guarded 24 hours a day. And my brother did not feel that way. So it was a thing. But a lot of my friends went and saw her and spent time with her. And I will never forget that. Never. But after she died, it was wild. It was wild. I can remember one time I was on the couch, just like depressed. I don't even know what the word is. I don't know what the word was. I guess it's grief. Grief changes. And I can remember laying there and just feeling overwhelmed. And I'm going to tell you, so I believe in afterlife. I believe in higher beings, whether you want to call it God, whatever you want to call it. I think anyone has right to believe whatever they want, right? But it's what gives you comfort. And I don't know why you would deprive yourself and be like, this doesn't exist or it's not a thing. How do you know? There's too many miracles and strange stuff that happen, so I believe it. But I was laying there, and I definitely believe in angels, and I believe in I talk to my mother and my dad all the time. And interesting enough, my dad had a little brother named Clarence that died really young. I feel like he's around a lot. But I was on the couch, so depressed. I didn't even know what I was. I hadn't eaten. Dishes were in the sink. It was just crazy. Probably hadn't showered, and I would go to work, try not to cry, come home and collapse. So I was laying there, and I felt energy surrounding me because it was like, what's happening? And I felt literally a push off the couch. Wild. And all I was like, because my mom speaks to me, obviously it's telepathically. For me, I guess it's different for different people. And she said, go do the dishes. Go do dishes. I'm like, really? You're dead. Stop bothering me about doing dishes. I went and did dishes, and there was something in the process of doing the dishes that made me better, that made me get out of that moment, right? As I remember reading in a book, a psychiatrist had two emergencies at one time that people felt, like they were going to hurt themselves. And he had to decide which one he felt was worse than the other. And he told the other one, go clean out your junk drawer. Like, I want you to take it out, put everything on the table or the floor, clean it, organize it, and put it back. And by the time he got back to that person, the crisis had passed. Now, it's not like that for everybody, right? This is just a general thing. But there is something in the doing that distracts you, right? I had a lot of that. And, but so when this pandemic, and I had so much support, really love and support, but, you know what, even with support and love, and life is really, what's the word? I can't think of the word. It's kind of like internal, in a sense that is almost like it's just you. And do you know what I mean? I'm not articulating this correctly, the way I want to. I'll have to think about it. Maybe I'll come up with a better idea of it. But you know what I mean? So you can be surrounded with people and still you have this whole internal world going on. And especially with ADHD, a lot of the time I'm just in my own head, right? And let me not go on a tangent yet. So it was challenging. I was reading good stuff. I was trying to do little walks. I was trying to make sure I didn't eat a lot. And sometimes I got food poisoning twice because I lost sense of time which is a big ADHD thing for me. So I would think, oh, I just opened it. So that really made me like, you have to date everything you open. You have to look at the dates, because twice I got myself sick. And so, you come around and, you figure a way to live, and it's taken me a long time to process it, and so part of me started to grow up, because even though I was, trust me, we just had a very, I don't know, I wouldn't even say unusual. A lot of people are like this kind of relationship. And one of the things we used to do is thrift all the time and shop and buy things, right? And I used to pretend to be on a TV show with my mom when we were shopping, and do like a little QVC, or like a Shabby Chic Woman. Rachel Ashwell had her show, and she would talk about how so I would do that to make my mom laugh. And we'd get home, and then we'd show each other what we got, because even though we were in the store together, we were just doing our thing. So there's always a YouTuber in me. And so when I first doing this, and then slowly, people found me, and through Trader Joe's and the Dollar Tree. And then, I started talking, because I think I stumbled on someone and they were talking. I thought, wow, this is amazing, because so many of us think other people have it better, or it would be easier if, right? That kind of thing. Even though we know in our head that's not necessarily true. There's a really good book called The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, Haig. And it's magical realism, which I love. It's not fantasy per se. I don't like fantasy necessarily, but it is magical realism. So realism, but it's really about a woman who wants to harm herself, and I can't remember now. It was wonderful how she ends up in this midnight library, and there's all these books, and it's things that she could have chosen differently and would have had a different life, because she always felt like, if I'd only married that man, if I'd only done this, my life would be better. It wouldn't be the way it is now. So she could pick one, and boom, she was in that life as if she'd made that choice. Well, what was interesting is things weren't necessarily better. So we had that, right, in us. And especially with Instagram and YouTube, and some of these YouTubers, well, it's their profession. They have a team working with them, but their houses are perfect, and the lighting and the makeup. And I used to really be better about putting on makeup and stuff, or looking presentable, or change my shirt and all this stuff. But, it's just really about me. And I thought, is this what I want to do? Really? Just to only show people shopping stuff? Is this it? Yeah, really? Is this what I want it to be about? And I thought, no, I don't. So some of these channels I found, there was a connection, and it made me think about myself, and I would reach out to people, and just to let them know I'm here, I'm listening, and, it matters. So I changed a little bit. And then I talked more about my mom, and people really related. And then my cat Oscar had issues, and had Oscar and Clara was really my mother's cat. They were both Siamese. Claire's Seal Point Siamese, and they tend to be one person cat, right? Like Clara has never, she used to sleep behind my mom's head. Her bed was set up with these pillows, and Clara would peek her head up when I come in, and my mom would be like, leave Claire alone. Anyway, and Oscar got sick, and he had a blocked colon, and I just could not cope with him leaving. And my friend paid for it. We had most of his colon removed, and he did really well. It was a scene. It's a lot. And then he got diabetes, and the medicine wouldn't work. And so I have an animal communicator named Lydia Hibby. I should do a whole thing just on Lydia Hibby. And I'm going to write that down. And we talked, and, he wanted to go, basically. And so we let him go, and that was hard. And then Clara slowly, became my cat, right? And my manager, if you will. So, a lot of grief. And then, my friend Mimi died. She was my age, and I can't even talk about it right now. I miss her so much, because usually this time of year she would come up and we would celebrate my mom's birthday. Well, she would come anyway when my mom was alive. And then after my mom died, we would do something special for my mom's birthday. So it's been a challenge for sure. And this year, it's not that I forgot it. I didn't. It's just life was busy and I'm not, like I'm making chicken and dumplings today, but it doesn't matter. I got to, I remember my mom. I posted a picture on Instagram. Anyway, and then Angela died. It just seemed like everyone was dying. Like for everyone. But the connection that I felt with people, even now as I'm filming this, I feel support and love. And that's kind of amazing. And it can be addicting too. But, I have ADHD and it's been a struggle to get the medicine. Actually, I can't get the medicine that I normally would take. And I look tired, y'all. Oof. So, long story short, I'm getting an alternative medicine actually this week. But when I don't have, I've learned a lot about myself with what ADHD looks like for me. And most of my life I was undiagnosed. And, so in that sense, that's been the gift part of it, but it just sucks. And my sense of time is off. And, I'll feel like, oh, I filmed that, but you know what? I didn't post it. So that kind of thing. And I'm really keeping it together to do what I have to do. And I haven't even really been creating time. So this week I'm going to get my new medicine. And I would say it's normally like 75% effective compared to Adderall, which is pretty much 99, unless it's a bad quality of it, which changes pill to pill. But so I'm curious to see. But yeah, so that's kind of what's been going on with me. And I get obsessions and I like to talk about that. And sometimes I'm plus size, so talk about clothing and that. And I've been in a rut to say, not wearing a lot of makeup. And but I've been working on doctor's appointments. And I'll be 60 in the end of January, which sounds like a party. I just want to get a snapshot, right? But all these appointments, it's a lot. But like I have a colonoscopy a week from today. Hi, Moira. Hi. Moira, are you gonna? My roommate has a cat. I have a roommate. It's another story. So yeah, so that's been a lot to manage, and but I kind of want a snapshot of where I'm at, and. Like after I do that, I have my colonoscopy, I think everything's fine. It's gonna be interesting to see, because I had stomach surgery, like how my stomach and esophagus are doing. And I'm having PT because I have like some pain in my arm and I have arthritis in my knee. It flares up sometimes, but insurance will only let you work on one body part at a time. So I chose this. And then next will be my knee. Like I said, my hands. I'm gonna go to a hand doctor and all that. But also my gastro lady wants me to go to a rheumatologist. So she was gonna tell me the name and I never got it. So I need to check on that. And yeah, an ENT guy, because I just always have sort of a sinus thing going on. And I'm not taking antibiotics and steroids. It only is temporary. And I hate the feeling of all that. So I don't know. He said there's some kind of surgery that's easy. So I'm gonna investigate that. I need hearing aids, I need new teeth, so it's a lot to go on. Mental, there's a thing I want to do called EMDR that helps you process childhood experiences that you're not even conscious of. So I'd like to do that. So there's a lot going on. So I figure like, not that I'll have all this done by January, but I kind of at least want to have a snapshot, right? And then as soon as I get this really feeling better in my knee, then I'm going to join the YMCA. I might do it earlier. I have to go look at their pool and see if I feel comfortable going there or if it's cold or, what the story is. But even yoga right now, I can't like put my body weight. Like right now, this is an improvement. Like that's really good. This is only like 3 sessions and right there. Ooh. So that's a huge improvement. I couldn't do that without severe pain. But anyway, so yeah, that's what's going on in my life right now. But I did a major declutter and there's a playlist with some of that stuff in it. Because when you live with someone, so there is Moira. I don't know if you guys can see her. Oh, hold on. This is crazy. What am I doing? There she is. Can't really see her up there. That's Moira. She's adorable. But yeah, so I had like a crisis, and I needed a roommate, and I needed one earlier, but I finally got one. And so I was decluttering a lot and making room, because my mom, after she died, I got rid of her clothes and anything people could use, that kind of thing. I knew she would want that. And I slowly started to let dishes go. She loved to collect dishes. Well, we went thrifting all the time. And, but I did looking at it right now, I feel like, okay, you need to declutter some more. But I did major stuff and got rid of a lot. And I still have a lot to get rid of. I would say really I'm probably 50% decluttered. I think about have another 25% that is not going to be that hard to declutter. And then the next 25 is going to be a challenge for me. And I brought everyone along with me. I mean, right now I've gone through Halloween stuff, and I think maybe when I put it away, I'll go through it with you guys and think, do I really want this? Do I need it? Is it special enough? Because, now when I'm not just endlessly, mindlessly buying, right? I think about it and try to, if it's anything online, to take time and think about it. Even groceries, like I got this morning cream of chicken soup. I got 2. Normally I would have gotten like 4. Like, let's just have them. But I knew I was going to use up them for my chicken and dumplings. And so I thought, well, at least 1 each. That's fine. I mean, when do you have need to make emergency chicken and dumplings, right? Like, you can't wait and go to the grocery store. But so, yeah, it's been interesting, but I really spent 6, 8, 10 weeks, like, majorly letting things go to make room, and talking with my angels and having affirmations, and when I find, and it was really kind of terrifying, actually. But I think the thing that, one, I'm supported and taken care of, really. Another thing is trust myself. But when your brain changes, like with ADHD, untreated, my brain's different, and I make different. My impulsivity is off the chart, and even like I curse more, right? There's so many things. I snap at people if I'm in a bad mood more, which I really don't do, because I have a minute to make a better choice. So in a journey of like meditation and journaling and all the kinds of things I've been studying and reading about my whole life. So that's kind of, and I still get obsessions. And like right now, unfortunately, it's a pimento cheese dip. I don't know what you call it, dip. There's certain people I love to watch on YouTube, and I like to share. That's just fun to share, right? Things are something I've found I love that other people I think might like. But it's not, my channel's not driven to, like some of these people I like. Crafty Girl, I can't watch her anymore. There's certain people I just can't watch that I really like. Well, she's not my favorite, but, people I really enjoyed watching. I just like Lee's Home. I like her a lot. But I don't need to see right now, especially with unmedicated brain, all the stuff that all of a sudden I think I need. But I'm getting ready to, well, right now, so it'll be Halloween stuff. And then I'm having my group of friends come over on next month, and we're gonna have like a hangout, brunch stuff. And what I'm gonna try to do is have this young boy bring all the Christmas stuff in, and then have us go through it and decorate, and then let them take stuff and get more stuff ready to go. And I got rid of a couple things, like I got rid of 2 big Santas, and I just don't really have the space, or it's just, I just thought it's time to let some stuff go, right? And just been growing myself up, trial and error, right? And then just normal stuff. So I love like children's picture books. I have something prepared to get ready to put out. I like sharing that with people, and the library and books in general, and cleaning, and just life, just my life. So it's really just about me, Tracy here at the Mermaid Cove. And yeah, and Claire's getting older, my cat. And, you know, that's scary and, you know, not easy. But having a communicator that I talk with her and understand what's happening. Like when Oscar wanted to go, he wanted to go. Like we talked on a Monday and she's like, he needs to be gone by Friday. Usually it might be, oh, I'll probably be gone by the end of the year. Kind of, no, Oscar was ready. And I don't blame him. And, you know, I know people, I should just do a thing on her, but, you know, whether you believe or not, that's your business. But, so here's an example. I had been dropping him off at the vet for the day so they could check his blood sugar. So we were trying to figure out the right doses. And so I had done that like 3 times. And the first thing he said to her was, I do not want to go to the vet again all day. I didn't tell her that. So that's pretty interesting. And that he had things to do. The kittens were waiting for him and he needed to go ahead and be gone by the end of the week. It was like he was giving me a week to get it together. And the other thing she said, this is interesting. She said, he's very curious about the library. And she said, do you work there? And I said, yeah. And he said, yeah, he's really curious. And one of the first things he wants to do is go check out the library when he's in spirit. And she said, if you see him or think about him or you see a tail, he's there because he's very anxious to go and look at it. She doesn't know I work in a library, you know? So, and she's actually the one that gave me my affirmation. It was like, I am asking God for the most, or you could say universe, for the most perfect, complete roommate for me, Clara, and the roommate, and her cat. Right, Moira? So, yeah. So, you know, I have a spiritual bent, and I'm not sure how you get through life without having it. But, you know, so right now it's about health and, you know, and how do you live? Like, depression comes with ADHD, and I can feel, like, I always thought I was a depressed person that had ADHD. Well, I didn't know this till later. But really, looking back, you know, my depression really comes with ADHD. And I can feel it when I really stopped having my medicine. I can feel it coming, like a fog almost. Like you can see it, you know, it's the best way to describe it. Like I feel like I'm in a fog. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this is going to change. You know, I try to walk as much as I can. And try to eat the best food I can. And I'm working on like trying to get protein at every meal and protein snacks, that kind of thing to help my brain. I still, you know, am having way too much sugar, too many exceptions. I'm not buying it, but there's a lot at work. But I'm really getting ready. One of my coworkers, hey Moira, one of my coworkers has to go on a very specialized diet. And I thought, okay, when she's doing that, I can really just like make note, just have no, I would like to from now until like the month of November, other than like Thanksgiving, just not even think about it, right? Just not buy anything remotely that's going to affect my brain. But yeah, so it's a struggle. So, you know, being overweight, obese, whatever you want to call it, it's interesting that as I come to terms and thinking about all this and really trying to figure out who I am, you know, not who I've been, not, you know, and I know I'm a good person and I know I'm funny. Apparently that's a God-given gift because lack of medication does not affect my humor, other than maybe I'm a little too sometimes, but that's the worst thing is you know, is that. But looking at it now, you know, going back in hindsight and trying to get some lessons and learn some stuff without judging, because I've gotten in a really good place. It's not that I never judge, of course I do, but I used to judge myself for having thoughts that were not kind or downright awful. But now I come to understand, really, you can't control your thoughts in that sense. When it comes, it's like, oh, interesting. You know, you can either try to examine it. It's telling you something. Journal it out, go for a walk, whatever it is that you're going to do. it's when you start ignoring all that, or feeling shame that you think it or feel it. I think that's what stops you from growing or moving on. And that was a huge shift for me. That was a huge paradigm shift. Like, what? Really? You know, and now, of course, when my brain is, I'm not allowed to say better because Beverly's like, okay. When my brain is medicated or it's being, I don't know, optimal, maybe, I now have space to think about that and like, okay, interesting. What's that about? Or I'll even jot it down on my phone. So when I go to journal, I can remember that thought. And of course, trying not to judge other people because it's really about you, not about the person. I mean, it's not. So, I mean, it's been harder because I haven't had that. But going back to my childhood, so when I have impulse control, when my medicine is working, and it's not that I don't have impulses, like, oh, I want that cookie. It's just that my body, my brain's like, huh, you really want that cookie? Gives me a second to think about it, right? Instead of just reacting immediately. And I can look at my childhood. Number one, I was giving food and gifts and stuff to keep me happy, or like from not speaking the truth of what I felt. Not that I could at that time, but so that's a habit, and changes your brain. And then, you know, but I've been thinking back to a lot of the food, like I couldn't control myself. Like if there were ho-hos in the house, I was going to eat them all, sneak them and eat a little bit, but I had to until it was done. Very impulsive. And now I can make a better choice with that. But at the time, and of course you feel shame and bad, like what's wrong with you? Can't you control yourself? Like, come on. Apparently not. But so there's a lot to unravel, and there's a lot just to say, okay, that happened. We're going to try to make a better choice now. Even, you know, looking at, I've always been artistic, and, you know, having a really bad experience in University of Arizona, taking a first level art drawing class that everyone had to take. And now doing art now and revisiting some stuff, it's like, wow, I really shut myself down because of the criticism of an unkind person. Right? But because I stop and I'm just like, what am I afraid of? Like, why don't I make this a priority? And I have been doing a lot, and then now it's just really challenging, but that's okay. I'm kind of, you know, like I said, I have this goal early or mid this November that I'm going to have a library, and I want it a good 50% decluttered. As I go, and there's all the energies overwhelm me, right? And this is harder art stuff and papers to let go of, but I also know it's keeping me stuck and it's keeping me from creating, right? I love to create at my kitchen table, which I do a lot, but I also have a roommate, and also I come down in the morning and it's like visually too stimulating maybe. And I like to go downstairs and give my roommate some time in the morning because she's not a morning person per se. But this is a great experience. But so yeah, so that's kind of what I'm doing. And I have a lot I filmed. I think a lot of the older vlogs I'll just delete, and you know, and try to get better. Like I did upload 2 things yesterday and upload this today, and you know, do my Dollar Tree kind of stuff. Try to keep up, because if I mean, it's a challenge for me even when my brain is a little bit more optimal. I don't know what to call it, but forgetting things, you know, or meaning to, and then write them down and not looking at them. Like today I have my book out and I hadn't looked at it all weekend, which is never a good thing. So I have therapy on Wednesday and Friday this week. I'm off Friday, so that's nice. And so, but I have to figure out, like, I got to make a chart today because this is coming up fast. So my colonoscopy is Monday. So about Thursday, I have to start eating lighter food, right? And I got to make this chart of what I do when, down to the hour, because I won't remember and I'll get confused. But I also got to review the goals I set with her, which I don't remember right now. She sends me an email with what we talked about. She's a very kind person. But usually I write it down somewhere. Oh, I gotta change the filter in my furnace. I've been saying that all for a week now. So I'm gonna write that down. My filter, and I need to do a load of laundry and litter box, right? Time just flies, and talking to you guys, it takes time. But I enjoy this, and it's like my therapy. And I just sometimes when I'm in this thinking space of I just don't want to sit here and feel like I'm whining, and I know it's not that, because to me whining is you just never make changes, and it's just the same story over and over again. And while these are my challenges, I've made huge progress, and even to have my brain like this and to have these doctor's appointments, it's not like I've ever forgotten one. I might like the night before think, oh my God, is it tomorrow kind of thing. But yeah, but right now I have another little book I keep in my purse, and so my PT's not on here. But I think today at work I will take this, and at lunch spend a little time. Like this is from my friend Amy Jo. We love Miami Vice. Like I need to send that. So it's just stuff like that I need to do and I don't follow through. Yeah. And that's okay. But it's how do you treat yourself? Like, what do you say to yourself? Like, oh, you're such a loser. I've said that more times than I'd care to admit. But I'm not. And, been off Instagram, and, I know I kind of disappeared, and I don't like doing that. And, but, sometimes, not that I mean to, it's just time slips. Like, what do you mean? Like 2 weeks since I posted? Like, and people are reaching out to me, which I appreciate. But, I feel a little bit committed to this because, I know, and there's you guys right now in the true crime world. I know I think I talked about this even because I'm obsessed with this. And I really know when to talk to you about, and I know a lot of people here don't like it. I'm not talking about, this is just now about the YouTuber podcasters who are in this world about this Dan Markel case and what is happening now with people are getting unbelievable. I watched this 3 hours yesterday, this woman, Patty's Playhouse, who I like, and she reminds me of just people I grew up with, but she was spilling the tea because they were coming after her, trying to get her channel taken down. But there's another woman called Roberta Glass, True Crime. And this one is Patty's Playhouse. Just go give them a subscription, even if you don't watch it, really. But Patty's Playhouse, that's her job. I'm not Patty, she's a real estate agent. But the other woman, Roberta Glass, True Crime, that's her job. That's how she makes money. She does all kinds of stuff, right? And I like her a lot, and she's more conservative, which is fine. But she's very talented and makes songs and stuff like this. But there's this little triad of these YouTubers, and it's interesting because one is called Fancy Fiction, the Society page, TSP, and Katie Cool Lady. And Fancy Fiction claims like she's the original one to start talking about this case. Who cares? This man was murdered, right? Trying to get justice, and it is a while. It's been 10 years, right? It's a mess. But she was always kind of like a mean girl to me, right? And if someone said, oh, I might go watch an episode, but I really couldn't get through it. The last time she had one on and she was explaining what to look for and why you shouldn't watch certain podcasters. Everyone's going to watch everyone. It's not like saying, I'm just going to watch one. I watch whatever, and if they're interesting or it's an interesting topic, I watch it. If not, I wait for another one. But it was weird, and but I never followed her. And then the Society page, he does, he's very talented, makes little clips and uses things, but it's really kind of mean-spirited, kind of like, what are those little kids' names? Or the Simpsons kind of humor, which is not my favorite. Like kind of mean humor. So I never really followed him either, but he'd been on a couple of different shows. And then this Katie Cool Lady, it's called The Heart Space, and it's interesting, like they were going to have the trial and it got canceled because something a lawyer did. It was a mess. And then I think she was geared up for stuff and then it didn't happen. And she started filming like all day long and, having alcohol. And not that you can't do that, but it was just weird and kind of being mean to her subscribers. I'm like, where's the heart space here? Like, what is going on? And she's a survivor of, her sister got murdered, I think in the 80s or 90s, and which is terrible. But she kind of goes around and gets involved in all these different cases. Like Jodi Arias, she knew the family, and Scott Peterson, she knew the family, kind of thing. It's funny that you remember the name of the killers more than the Laci Peterson case, let's say that. But she's gotten close to Ruth Markel and was the mother of this kid, this guy who was murdered. And Ruth's really smart in the fact that these YouTubers kept it going, and she was very supportive of that. Of course, she wants justice for her son. I mean, when your ex-daughter-in-law's family kills your son because he doesn't want his children to relocate 8 hours away, I mean, it's wild. But anyway, so she kept saying how, Ruth is her North Star and Ruth this. I thought, you know what? If I were really close with her, I wouldn't talk about it. I just think that's weird. Like, I wouldn't talk about it. I would keep that to myself. If that's special, I would protect that, right? I wouldn't talk about it. So she just went off the hinge. And now I think all three of them, I think Fancy Fiction is still up, but she's not posting, and the other two are gone. Like, Katie Cooley was getting a puppy, and I was going to hop on and just see what her puppy looked like, and then she's not there. So Patty's Playhouse said, like, all three, but they went after Roberta Glass, and Patty's, is she upset? So she was, something. But one of the things she does, she's a real estate agent and a broker and all kinds of stuff. And so the brother of Dan Markel's brother-in-law, who apparently organized this hit men to come kill him, he had this house and it hadn't been for sale, but Patty said it probably took a year to get it even reasonable. But she goes through the pictures and explains, like, no, not what you do. Why would you show? It's fascinating to see the real estate part of her, and she's just interesting. And she was talking about YouTube as a business choice, and so I don't know. It was just really insane, and human nature, right? Oh my God. But anyway, I'm gonna go. I'm making chicken and dumplings. I need to finish that up, get a shower, get my protein snacks together. I think today I'm gonna have I have a yogurt I need to eat up, and I think it's Oinkos, something like that, but it's 20 grams of protein, right? That's a lot, and I can't eat it one sitting, but that's a good thing. But what I'm gonna do is I take 2 tablespoons of peanut butter and warm it up, and then put it in and sort of swish it around, and it's yummy. And then I get more protein. So that thing ends up being almost like 30, I think. Lord knows I could throw some chia seeds in there. So I'm going to have that, and I'm trying to eat up. I'm much better, y'all, at eating up what I have. Not perfect, of course, because nobody is, but because I'm sharing half a refrigerator, right? And so that's kind of a thing. And then I've been trying to get my freezer down since I started my channel. But like when I was at Trader Joe's, I didn't buy much frozen because I didn't have space for it. So is what it is. But yeah, and then I made that feta tomato pasta. So I saved some chicken to throw in that. And I have some other chicken I'm going to make chicken salad of tomorrow, I think. So you add celery, and you take the cranberries and soak them in like broth. But I got a rotisserie chicken, and all the yummy stuff at the bottom I saved. So I will heat that up and then throw the cranberries in that and let them sit overnight. So yes, I'm trying to focus more on having food to eat. It's a challenge. It's really a challenge like this. And my schedule is different. So like next weekend, I work all weekend. Not that it matters because I won't be eating much. But yeah, so it's that kind of thing. Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do. My roommate's not much of a cook. She gets a lot of stuff from Aldi's and to heat up and that kind of thing, and frozen food. And she loves that Mandarin chicken from Trader Joe's. So I got her some of that. And yeah, she's just not necessarily someone, but she moved in a bunch more of her plates and stuff, and we rearranged, and because I want her to feel comfortable. So maybe she'll do some more cooking if she wants to. But like now, I would not leave my kitchen a mess like I easily would before. So, all right, guys, I appreciate you so much. And yeah, so it's just a little history, I guess, of my channel to reintroduce myself to people. And yeah, so I'm never doing this because it would be awesome to make extra money from it, right? I have some debt I need to pay off, so that would be really cool. But it's not like I'm going to do something particular to do that. And a lot of times when I'm doing like a vlog like this, I don't really put a bunch of stuff in it. I will do probably like, things that help people find you. I need to do more of that and pay more attention. But luckily, sometimes just all I can do to get it up, right? So hopefully that will change. And I can, and I want people to find me that, want to spend time with somebody talking about real stuff. And, especially, a lot of people feel like, oh, it looks like they have everything together. And they, at that moment, they might. But nobody lives their life like that, right? We're mercurial. So, all right, I'm going to put my trash, y'all, in the trash. And, oh, there's my book. I've been looking for my book. Look at this. This is my little book I keep in so I can remember. Okay, yeah, like say I switched on the 3rd. I'm going to work on Sunday so I can be off Monday for a doctor's appointment because I'm trying really hard not to, yeah, so I have, okay. So yeah, so I have this little book. So when I'm at the doctor's making appointments, I can, as I'm not always taking my big book with me. But, okay, guys, yes. I'm glad you're here. And if just one person, it matters to you guys and it helps you too. Or, and I know I get attached to people, on YouTube, if, and I got my virtual best friend out there, my farmer's girl. And this core group of women who've been so amazing to me. And I appreciate you. And sometimes like Gina's not around anymore. And I worry about Gina. And, I know it's just the ebb and flow of stuff, right? It's just how it is. But yeah, it's interesting. So every time I think about Gina and I get worried, I just send love and light to her and hope that all is going well for her. She lost her husband. I know it's been really challenging and hard. But, you might make a bad decision and you feel shame and don't talk. I don't know that that's what happened. Maybe she met an amazing man who's living in Hawaii and doesn't care about YouTube. That would be my goal, I hope, for her. But anyway, you guys, so you take care. And yeah, I'll be back more often, the best of my abilities. But again, it's like an hour of my time, which I'd much rather spend with you. But I got a thing for my car so I can do some talking in my car too. But yeah, so now I got to hit the ground running. And yeah, so I will see you soon. And yeah, introduce yourself if you're new. I'd love to know where you're from. I appreciate that. So cool to me. And but yeah, if there's anything you want to see, let me know. We're going to do a little bit with decluttering and like I might do a haul from things I've already bought, right? As I'm trying to decide if I want to keep them or not. But life goes on. But not bringing a bunch of stuff in my house, wow, that's the difference, right? That's how you can get caught up. So, all right, guys, you take care, and I'll talk to you soon.